If you're thinking about converting your acoustic drum shells into electronic drum pads, or if you already have, you're about to run into a problem. What are you going to do about this resonant head situation? More on that coming up. What's up? Justin here. Welcome to 65 Drums, the place to keep on top of all things electronic drum related. So this is something that you don't really think is going to happen until it happens. You spend all this time and money and research thinking about what's the best mesh drum head to buy. Should I buy the Drum Tech one? Should I buy the Roland Powerply one? Should I buy the Billy Blast one? Should I buy this one? Should I buy that one? Should I buy the ZED mesh drum head? You go and look at all these reviews, and then you spend all kinds of time looking at the perfect drum triggers to use on the mesh heads. Should I buy the Roland one? Should I buy the Yamaha one? Should I buy the Joe Becky one? Should I buy the Diamond one? Should I buy this one, this one? And you do all that, you order all that stuff from the internet, you even take the time to buy some rubber rims, and then you start setting it all up, and then you realize, I need something to put on the resonant side. Because here's the problem, you can't just use the acoustic resonant head that came on your acoustic drum. Because what happens when you just play with a drum set up like this thing just resonates all the time while you're playing, and it's just way too loud. So you got to get rid of this and use something else so that you can still have that bottom rim right there. You might just think that you can get away with not having a bottom rim at all. But the problem is it doesn't complete the look unless you have that bottom rim. It just doesn't look quite right, especially when you have a wood shell and a dark finish like this or dark shell wrap. It just doesn't look quite right. So you want to have some sort of drum head on the bottom there so you complete the look, you have the drum rim there, but also you want to stop this stupid rattling sound. Listen to this. It sounds absolutely terrible. I mean, it might not sound that awful to you, but after a while you keep hearing it for weeks and weeks, it just gets annoying. The reason why that rattling is happening is that this little metal piece right here is bouncing into the sides of this lug. So you gotta have some sort of drum head on the bottom. So here are your options. I'm gonna give you the free options, the paid options, and all that cool stuff. So option number one is just to go buy a mesh drum head that's really, really cheap. This one is a Remo Silent Stroke. These are some of the cheapest out there on the internet. You could also go buy something like Pearl muffle heads. You could even go ultra cheap if you wanted to. Like one time I was on eBay and I saw this guy, he was selling all kinds of mesh drum heads. They got water damage. They had these giant yellow rust stains on them. You can buy, really cheap mesh drum heads online. The only purpose is so that you can put a drum rim on the bottom there and complete the look. That's the whole idea, and to stop that stupid rattling sound. So this is option number one. It's gonna cost you about $12, all right? Now option number two is more expensive. Buy a plug head. I don't know how many companies sell stuff like this, but Ardrum sent me this free review unit, and this is really, really simple. It looks exactly like what it is. You have this cable that's male on one end and female on the other end embedded into this one ply mesh drum head. The whole idea is that you plug one end into the drum trigger, you put the mesh head on, you put the rim on, and now you just plug a 1/4-inch cable from this mesh drum head to your drum module. This helps with cable management, because this is one thing I didn't mention with the mesh head issue. When you have a mesh head like this, there's no way to snake the cable out of the drum. Right now I'm just using this snare drum. I'm not having any sort of drum head on the bottom of it. I just have a cable dangling out of it going to my Roland TD30 drum module. Here's the thing, I'd either have to cut a little hole in this thing, or I'd have to go through the air vent right here. And I don't know if I have any cables that would fit through that air vent. Now you can go buy specialty drum cables online that are meant to go through air vents, and maybe I'll try to link some in the description below. I'm gonna link some different video and different resources in the description, so go check it out after you watch this. But if you don't want to deal with that, you can just go buy a plug head from a company like Ardrums. This is going to be the most pricey option on the list, but it's probably the most elegant option. All right, so let's go on to the free option if you don't want to spend any money. Now remember, you've got this random resonant head that you can never use again unless you used it on another acoustic drum set. So you got this lying around, it's sitting in your closet. Why not just take a knife to this sucker and just cut a giant hole? So now that all you got is the metal rim part, and that way you can put it on the bottom of your snare drum shell, you can put the real rim on top of that, and now you've completed your look, kinda. Because if you look at the bottom of the drum or you look at it from an angle, the audience might be able to tell there's no drum head there. It looks a little odd. So this is probably the most ugly option. But the second idea, the second angle to this, is you could just put a lot of muffling on this. So let's say you put a ton of duct tape, or you put like a little mini scarf or something just to dampen the sound a lot, and then cut a very small hole, maybe the size of, I really don't know, maybe the size of a cup right here. And that way you can snake the cable out, but it still retains the look. You still got that all white look or that all clear look. So it looks like you got a drum head there, because you do, but it's muffled and you have a little hole so that you can snake the cable to your drum trigger. So this is the free option. And while we're talking about knifing into acoustic drum heads, I want to mention something that not a lot of people think about. You can actually make your own mesh drum heads DIY style. I'm going to link an article on this along with a video from the channel Outlaw Drums, but it's really simple. All you got to do is remove this Mylar material right here, the actual drum head piece, so that all you have is the rim left. Now you go buy some sort of mesh material. You can choose whatever size you want. Just go to Lowe's or Amazon, wherever it is you buy mesh material. It's not that expensive. And what you do is you hold the mesh in place by putting some zip ties, like four going in a crisscross manner. And then what you do is you buy some really heavy string, like the kind that you use to sew leather material. And you basically just sew around the edge of the rim right here, and then you make your own mesh drum head. The great thing about making it yourself is you get to choose how thick this mesh drum head is. You also get to choose how many layers are going to be on that mesh drum head. So it's a really, really cool idea. I don't want to put in the time. I'd rather just pay someone to make one for me. But if you're really deep into that DIY stuff, you can make your own mesh drum heads. It's probably going to be some trial and error stuff, but just wanted to make you aware that it's out there. Again, I'll link that video tutorial on it down in the description below. So yeah, just wanted to make this quick video. It's something that not many people think about. When you convert your acoustic drums, you're going to have to do something about that resonant head. And a lot of times you could just be like me and just pretend that there never was a resonant head on it because I don't want to deal with it. What I recommend is that whenever you install your triggers for the first time, leave the resonant heads off for like a good week or a good 2 weeks. Because what you're going to find is that you didn't actually make the proper adjustments. So before you know it, you're going to have to open up the mesh drum head again. You have to take a screwdriver and you have to move it up an inch or a couple of millimeters, and then you're gonna have to put the mesh head back on, and then a week later you realize you could fine tune it even more. So what I recommend is that when you first start messing around with drum triggers, especially a new one, just leave the bottom head off until you make all the adjustments and you know for sure that it's 100% ready to go and all the screws are tightened down so it's not shifting around. And then put that mesh head on the bottom there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you got more ideas for video topics or questions, leave them down in the comments below. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you guys in a few.